Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Today, I am hoping I'm not going to butcher these names, but I do have the Hakugei Anunachi for you. So, there's two different spellings of Anunnaki, and one of them looks like it could be pronounced Anunachi, but I believe Anunnaki is the correct pronunciation, so you will see that in the title of the video. That is the traditional spelling. The spelling with the KI will appear, I believe, on the AliExpress site. I'm not sure why there's two spellings. Maybe one of them is more of a phonetic spelling, just so people understand how to pronounce it correctly, which I hope I did. If you're wondering why I'm starting out paying so much attention to detail, there's a very good reason for it, and that is because that's what the set does. So before we get into it, I'd like to go through a little bit of a special unboxing and specs, because I never tend to keep the packaging, like the outer packaging, but I thought this was really cool. So this is what it came wrapped in. Now, of course, it was in like bubble wrap and an envelope, so it was really well protected. But somebody actually took the time to hand wrap this in this, and I can tell it's hand wrapped because there's my favorite packing tape on there to hold it together. So I kept this. Thank you to the person that took the time to pack it up so nicely. It was very cool. I mean, right from the start, you just get a very traditional feel from this packaging and from the IEMs. So, you know, without further ado, it comes in this metal case that is a plastic window, but still, like, really nice. You know, this is something that I'm going to hang on to and probably put, like, ear tips or cables or something into. The IEMs came seated here, the ear tips here, the case was below, and the cable was in the case, which I'll show you in a second. So it came with 4 total sets of ear tips. I would say extra small, small, medium, and large. They are silicone, and they are maybe, I would say normal bore, maybe a little bit on the wider side. But it's nice. It's one set of ear tips, but that's okay. You know, they're nice ones. This little guy was wrapped around it, and that sticker right there was holding this on. I mean, yeah, I'm probably spending too much time on this, but it just feels authentic. So anyway, I'll set that there. I'm sure the R63 won't mind now that it's behaving again. Inside the pouch, you get the cable. Here's the other set of ear tips that comes with it. They were actually on the IEMs when you unbox. And then the IEMs themselves, which are just gorgeous. Sun on there and sky and just all sorts of different colors. My God, they're just beautiful. So certainly, you know, it's medical grade resin, 3D printed, and with just, as you can see, the faceplate on it is really something to behold. So the build is really nice. It's really nice. It's very ergonomic. Fits your ear just fine. The cable is a 7N single crystal copper lit structure cable. It is fabric covered. Typically, I am not a fan of the fabric cover, but in this case, I will make an exception, and all of my testing was performed with this cable, including the graphs that I am not going to post. I'll tell you why later. I might give you a sneak peek of them. They're confusing, so I don't want to confuse people. Terminations feels like aluminum, and 2-pin .78, 3.5 on this side, and you know, I didn't go to the 4.4. I didn't feel the need, and I always feel the need, but I just really like this. It's such a nice cable, and just so comfortable. I didn't switch to a 4.4 for this one. I just stuck with stock outside of the ear tips. So the ear tips were fine. You know, I like to tip roll. I found a new favorite ear tip, which I will link for you. The TRN T-Ear tips were great with this set. Just a little bit narrower bore than the stock ear tips. Divinous Velvet, of course, did well, and then I also utilized the Osla Crystal tips, although I did feel they took a little bit too much of the bass away. Divinous Velvet tips were perfectly balanced as usual, and these TRN T-Ear tips were just, they're so comfy. I had no idea. So I guess that saved the whole Medusa thing for me, is that I found a new favorite ear tip to get more of, which I have already done. I've already ordered them. They're not expensive at all. Like under $5? Crazy for 3 sets. These are large, so they do run small, just so you're aware. If you normally wear medium, order the large in these. If you wear large or extra large, you might be out of luck, but just saying. So tips, yeah, TRN T-Ear tips, Divinous Velvet, or stock. Those 3 will get you where you need to be. Insofar as the configuration of this, it's a single dynamic driver. It's an LCP PU, so the PU is the outer ring, the suspension, and the LCP is the dome. As we are, going along with our theme over the past several reviews of doing single dynamic drivers. It's 10 millimeter, and it is fabulous. Really, really well implemented and really well tuned. So, as we get into the sonic impressions, I will say this. Before we get into the sonic impressions, I'm going to say this, because this is very, very important. It is possible, because there are no ear hooks, and they're polarized, which is something maybe I'm just not used to it, because usually you have the ear hooks to guide you as to exactly how to insert them. This is a situation where you don't have that. Good strain relief, though, which makes them really comfortable, but it also makes it possible to reverse the polarity. And should you do that, these are going to, warning, but it's for emphasis, okay? These are going to sound fucking weird. So you've got to, it's kind of trial and error, because I didn't see any way really on these to be able to tell which is the right way to put them in. You can even unscrew the connection point, like this unscrews, but I don't see anything on here that tells me which way I'm supposed to insert them. So, oh, and by the way, this is the left with the little metal ring right there. That's the left side. The right does not have that. So there's your determination of left and right. Getting the polarity correct, well, that's going to be up to you. That's going to be trial and error, because there just doesn't seem to be a way to tell. This is not a beginner's IEM. I would not recommend this to anybody who's just getting into the hobby, because if I had gotten this set when I was still figuring things out, back when I just had the S12 Pro and the D13 and the Kato, I would have probably put them, I probably would have reversed polarity on one side or the other, or both, and just been like, oh my god, these are terrible, and sent them back. And I can see that happening. Okay, so really, really important. If you're watching this, you're just getting into the hobby, I'm warning you. If you don't get the polarity correct on these, you're going to think that they're just a train wreck. So there's your PSA. I don't know. I don't know if the only way to do it is to put them in, and then put them in your ears and turn the music on. And if the vocals sound like they're coming from another dimension, you've got the polarity reversed. If it sounds front and center, right, in front of your eyes, you got the polarity correct. And that's really the only way you can do it. Look, see, I already put it on the wrong one. So, challenges right out of the gate. But everything else from here on is going to be positive, because these little guys right here are the most resolving set of IEMs that I have ever listened to, period. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. How can I frame this without sounding like a broken record? This time I literally heard things that I'd never heard before in songs that I'd listened to hundreds of times. I mean, details, details, details. It's a different tuning, okay? It is not a Harman clone. It is not like an anti-Harman. It's its own thing. You know, all right, best way to describe it is this. You know how Tool is its own genre, basically, right? Like, they don't fit into a genre, they just are Tool. And to an extent, the same thing you could say about Mastodon, and potentially you could say that, oh, I don't know, by like somebody like Bjork, or I don't know who else to even say that about. But there are bands and there are artists out there that don't fit into a genre. They are the genre, right? That's kind of how I feel about these earphones. They don't fit into anything like that I've heard before. They're not a bass headset. They're not a treble headset. They're not like... That's why I don't want to show the graph, because if you look at the graph, it looks like there's like a huge dip and the mids are going to be recessed, and then there's like a massively aggressive ear gain. And they don't sound like that. They sound super balanced, and like as far as the soundstage goes, if you ever read the short story by Stephen King called The Jaunt, which is about the discovery and implementation of like basically teleportation, okay? People go through that asleep, because if they go through that awake, they go completely insane. And at the end of the book, end of the story, I hope I'm not ruining it for anybody, a kid tries to be brave, stays awake, and comes out the other side. His hair's white, he's like completely insane, and he says, "It's forever in there." Meaning, like, basically when you're awake and you teleport, you're in there forever. Like, it's eternal. If you're asleep, boom, done, you're gone, you're fine, you're good, right? But if you're awake, that's why everybody that went through it went insane or died or both. That's what these feel like to me. That's what they sound like to me. They sound like it's forever in there. Like, you could keep going further and deeper and just still keep discovering new little tiny things that you had not heard before. This is not a beginner headset. Okay? In the description of it on, their marketing, they say something about like getting to the graininess of the original music. I'm going to adjust that adjective for them. Granular. I think that's what they were trying to say, because that's what these are. They're granular. Okay? They literally, if that is not how the artist intended, I don't know what is. And it's scaled, like, the higher the resolution of the track, the more detail you got. Like, yeah. Man, I wish I could just say to everybody, go buy these. That's what I want to say. I'm just like concerned. They're not going to be for everybody. They're not going to be, and everybody should. But I almost feel like they should be. I almost feel like everybody should have a set of these, so they can experience like what is a traditional tuning and traditional techs from a traditional IEM company in China. Like, this is authentic. This is the Anunnaki analog experience. This is definitely authentic, and that's what it sounds like. They sound analog. They sound like possibly you're listening to everything on an LP, on vinyl, right? That's the impression that they give. So if you're big into organic, if you're big into getting as granular and as detailed as you possibly can, you got to get these. You have to. If you're a fan of like getting lost in the music and just having it like kind of, I mean, I took these on right after the Origin, and I was expecting this huge drop off. Like, not, all right, maybe not huge. Okay, so these are like 140-ish normally, maybe. Let's just 123.14. I don't know if that's a regular price or a sales price, but I don't have a set that does this. I don't. And it doesn't matter if it's, 200 or if, 270 or, or 70 or whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't have a set that does this. And I love it. I mean, like, when you first put these in, you're kind of like, once you got the polarity straightened out, you're kind of like, what the hell is going on? Because you're just hearing it a different way. It's a different presentation. That's the best way I can describe it. It's an authentic, granular, organic, analog presentation. I mean, literally, like, I could see myself in Seoul, like chilling out, listening to 2 a.m. jazz, like, smoking a cigarette and just like watching the world go by. That's where these took me. Bravo, Hakugei. Like, damn well done. It takes a lot to surprise me now, and I realize I'm not exactly a grizzled veteran at this, but about a year in now, like, surprises are kind of few and far between. This set surprised the fuck out of me. I was like, wow. And I didn't want to do the review. I just wanted to listen to them. I didn't want to try to put it into words. I was like, I don't know, and then I did the graph, and I'm like, oh my god, that's fucked up. But it belies what they actually sound like. So I'm going to post it with that caveat. You look at the graph, it does not even come close to giving you the full picture of this set. I'm just blown away. And it takes me a lot to get blown away right now. As far as recommendations for genres, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of what it struggled with, and it didn't really struggle with much. It's got enough bass, mid-bass, sub-bass, like, it's very satisfying. And then the mids, you look at the graph, you're like, where are the mids? They're there, they're fine, they're plenty, they're clear, they're engaging, a little bit on the warm side, a little bit on the thick side for vocals, but clear as a bell. And then the treble is just, it's endless. It's like hypnotic. I don't know. It's not that fine crystal, it's definitely not that as smooth as the Origin was. That might be the main difference, is that they extend maybe about the same, but the Origin just does it a little bit smoother. But these are not sibilant or fatiguing, so they just have their own style. And that style is traditional. That's the best I can figure. So, yeah, you want an authentic listening experience, grab the Hakugei Anunachi. I'm serious. You want something different, you're tired of everything that's come out, you're tired of the Harman tuning, you're tired of bass head tuning, you're tired of just whatever, this will be refreshing to you. It was refreshing to me. I fucking love this set. I love it. Again, I'll qualify it. Maybe not the best set that I own from a technical standpoint, not the bassiest set I own, not the most satisfying set I own, but damn if this isn't special. It just is. It's just special in its own way, and it's just different from anything that I've tried to this point. Maybe that's why I love it so much. I don't know. Anyway, it gets my highly recommended. But again, if you're just getting started, might be a little bit too much for you. Just throwing it out there. That's all I got for you today, folks. Congratulations to Soul Cypher for winning the Hades. Get those out to you as soon as I can, buddy. Next up is going to be Simgot EA1000. let's see how we do with the next single DD. See if it can live up to this and the Origin. That's gonna be tough. Alright folks, that's all for now. As always, love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. We'll see ya.